The Polaroid in my hand is shaking, or maybe that's just me. In the photo, I'm kissing someone. Not just anyone. Baek Chun-sik. My brother's best friend. The man I've been pathetically in love with since I was 19. And we're both wearing matching rings. Seo-mun. His deep voice cuts through my panic. I spin around to find Chun-sik leaning against the bathroom doorframe, wet hair dripping onto his bare shoulders, a towel wrapped dangerously low around his waist. We need to talk. My phone buzzes violently on the nightstand. 17 missed calls from my brother Dongpal. The preview of his latest text makes my stomach drop. Where are you? Did you really run off with Chun-sik? What? My voice cracks. I clear my throat and try again. What the hell happened last night? Chun-sik walks toward me, and I instinctively step back until my legs hit the bed. He stops, something flashing across his face. Hurt? Before his expression smooths into that infuriatingly calm mask he always wears. You don't remember? He asks quietly. I look around the hotel suite properly for the first time. Champagne bottles. Rose petals. My suit jacket, definitely not mine, too expensive, draped over a chair. And there, on the desk, a marriage certificate with our names in elegant script. No, I whisper. I don't remember anything after. The club. Gapsu's face when he told me we were done. The fifth shot of something that burned. Chun-sik appearing out of nowhere, his hand on my back, his voice soft. Let's get you out of here. Then nothing. Just scattered fragments that don't connect. Chun-sik picks up another Polaroid and hands it to me. We're standing in front of a neon chapel sign, and I'm laughing, actually laughing, while Chun-sik looks at me with an expression I've never seen on his face before. Tender. Almost reverent. Listen to me carefully, Chun-sik says, his jaw tight. We need to stay married. For 6 months. What? My grandmother's will has a clause. If I want to inherit my father's company, keep it from being seized by Moon Baknam, I need to be married. I have 6 months to prove the marriage is real, or I lose everything. I stare at him. So you got me drunk and married me for your inheritance? It wasn't like that. Then what was it like, Chun-sik? I'm shouting now, my hangover making everything sharper, more painful. Did you plan this? Did you see your chance when I was crying over my ex and just... I was protecting you. The room goes silent. Chun-sik's hands are clenched into fists, his chest heaving. What are you talking about? I ask. He runs a hand through his wet hair, water droplets sliding down his neck. I force myself to look away. Gapsu drugged your drink, Chun-sik says flatly. I saw him do it. He was planning something, I don't know what. Blackmail probably. You were already drunk, you were vulnerable, and He stops, his throat working. I couldn't let him hurt you. So I got you out of there. The words hit me like ice water. Gapsu, drugged me? The wedding was your idea, actually. A bitter smile crosses Chun-sik's face. You were crying in the taxi. Said you wished someone would marry you who actually gave a damn. Asked if I would. Oh God. Oh God. I should have said no, Chun-sik continues. I should have just taken you home. But the chapel was right there and you looked so... He cuts himself off. The inheritance clause is real. I wasn't lying about that. But I didn't marry you for the money, Simon. Then why? Before he can answer, someone pounds on the door so hard I jump. Simon. Chun-sik. I know you're in there. Thumbo. My brother's voice is volcanic. Another round of pounding shakes the door. Chun-sik and I lock eyes. His are dark, unreadable, with something swirling beneath the surface I can't name. If you want out, he says quietly, I'll handle your brother. We can get this annulled. But if you agree to stay married, just for 6 months, I'll make it worth your while. Pay off your student loans. That apartment you wanted in Gangnam. Whatever you need. You're bribing me to stay married to you. I'm asking you to help me save my father's company. His voice drops even lower. Please. I've never heard Baek Chun-sik say please to anyone. The door pounds again. I'm calling the front desk. I'm breaking this door down. Chun-sik, if you touched my baby brother... 6 months. I hear myself ask. Chun-sik nods. I look at the ring on my finger. Heavy. 6 months living with Baek Chun-sik. 6 months pretending to be married to the man I've wanted for years but could never have. 6 months of torture. Or maybe 6 months of possibility. I say. But we tell Dongpal the truth. Some version of it, at least. Relief floods Chunsik's face. Thank you. The door suddenly swings open. Dongpal must have gotten a key card, and my brother storms in, face purple with rage. He stops dead when he sees us. Me in rumpled clothes with a wedding ring. Chunsik half naked with wet hair. Oh, Dongpal says, his voice dangerously soft. You two have a lot of explaining to do. Chunsik straightens his shoulders and looks my brother dead in the eye. Then he does something that makes my heart stop. He takes my hand. Dongpal, Chunsik says calmly. Seo-mun and I are married. And before you say anything, he squeezes my fingers gently. I'm in love with him. I have been for years. The world tilts sideways. That wasn't part of the plan. Guest bedroom is down the hall. Second door on the left. Chunsik doesn't look at me as he says it, just wheels my suitcase to a stop in the middle of our penthouse living room. The space is massive. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlook the Han River, all steel and glass and cold, expensive furniture that looks like no one actually lives here. Kind of like our marriage. It's been 3 days since Chunsik's declaration to my brother. 3 days of Dongpal's suspicious glares and pointed questions. 3 days of me trying to figure out if Chunsik meant what he said, or if it was just part of the act. He hasn't brought it up since. Neither have I. Right? I say, grabbing my suitcase. Guest bedroom. Got it. I hate how much that hurts. The bedroom is nice. Too nice. Like a hotel room. Impersonal. There's a new toothbrush waiting in the attached bathroom, expensive skincare products I'd never buy for myself, and a closet that's completely empty except for a note in Chunsik's sharp handwriting. Feel free to use whatever space you need. I sit on the edge of the bed and stare at the ring on my finger. What the hell am I doing? The first week is awkward. Chunsik leaves for work before I wake up. I make dinner that he's too busy to eat. We pass each other in the hallway like polite strangers, and every accidental touch, his hand brushing mine when he passes me coffee, his chest against my back when I don't hear him behind me, feels like an electric shock. Dongpal visits on day 8, unannounced, with takeout and suspicion in his eyes. So, he says, sprawled on Chunsik's expensive couch with fried chicken. How's married life? Fine, I say too quickly. Fine. Dongpal's eyes narrow. You've been married for 2 weeks and that's all you've got? Fine. Chunsik emerges from his home office, tie loosened, looking exhausted. Something in my chest tightens at the sight of him. Dongpal, Chunsik says, his voice carefully neutral. I didn't know you were coming. Yeah, well, someone has to check on you too. My brother tears into a chicken leg with unnecessary aggression. Make sure you're not just roommates playing dress up. We're not, I start. Prove it, Dongpal challenges. Show me your bedroom. My blood goes cold. Chunsik doesn't even blink. No. What? Our bedroom is private, Chunsik says firmly. You're my best friend, Dongpal, but there are boundaries. The way he says our bedroom, like it's real, like we actually share it, makes my face burn. Dongpal studies us both for a long moment, then shrugs. Fine. Keep your secrets. But I'm watching you too. After he leaves, Chunsik and I stand in the living room, not looking at each other. Thank you, I finally say, for not making me explain the separate bedrooms thing. We should fix that, Chunsik says quietly. What? My grandmother is coming. This weekend. He finally meets my eyes. She wants to meet you. And she'll definitely want to see where we live. Where we sleep. Oh no. Friday afternoon, we stand in Chunsik's master bedroom, now supposedly our bedroom, and stare at the California king bed like it might bite us. I'll sleep on the couch, Chunsik says. In your own bedroom? That's ridiculous. Then what do you suggest, Seo-mun? I grab some of my clothes from the guest room and start hanging them in his closet. We sell it. We share the bed like adults. It's big enough that we probably won't even touch. The look Chunsik gives me is unreadable. We spend the next 2 days making the apartment look lived in. My books on his shelves. Both our toothbrushes in the same cup. A photo from our wedding, the one where I'm laughing, in a frame on the nightstand. Every small detail feels like a lie and the truth at the same time. Saturday night, Chunsik finds me in the kitchen at midnight, stress cooking japchae. Can't sleep? He asks. What if your grandmother sees through us? He's quiet for a moment. Then he takes the spatula from my hand, sets it down, and turns me to face him. His hands are warm on my shoulders. She won't, he says softly. Because when I look at you, Seomun, I'm not pretending. My heart stops. Chunsik, your grandmother is here. The building concierge's voice crackles through the intercom. Chunsik steps back, and the moment shatters. His grandmother is tiny, elegant, and terrifyingly perceptive. She studies me over tea like I'm a puzzle she's determined to solve. So, she says, how did my grandson propose? Chunsik and I exchange glances. We rehearsed this. It was spontaneous, Chunsik says smoothly, taking my hand. His thumb brushes my knuckles, and I try not to shiver. We were in Las Vegas, and I couldn't wait anymore. I'd been in love with him for so long. 5 years, I add, remembering our story, that when the moment felt right, I asked. Right there at 2 a.m. His grandmother smiles. Young love, how sweet. Dinner goes well. Too well. I'm starting to relax when the doorbell rings. Chunsik goes to answer it, and I hear his voice, sharp with surprise. What are you doing here? I turn to see Gapsu standing in the doorway, designer suit, calculated smile. My ex-boyfriend. Chunsik SSI, Gapsu says pleasantly. I work for Moon Baknam now. He sent me to deliver some documents. His eyes find mine across the room. Oh, Seo, what a surprise. I didn't know you'd be here. Liar. He knew exactly where I'd be. Chunsik's jaw tightens. This isn't a good time. I'll only be a moment. Gapsu steps inside uninvited. Congratulations on your marriage, by the way. So sudden. So unexpected. The way he says it makes my skin crawl. After Gapsu leaves, I find him waiting by the elevator. I know, he says simply. Know what? That this marriage is fake. His smile is poisonous. The question is, what's it worth to keep me quiet? Before I can respond, the elevator dings. Gapsu steps inside. Think about it, Seomun. I'll be in touch. When I turn around, Chunsik is standing in the hallway, watching. His expression is cold. Betrayed. Chunsik, I can explain. Can you? His voice is ice. Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're having private conversations with your ex-boyfriend behind my back. It's not like that. Then what is it like? I don't have an answer. Not when he'd believe. Chunsik turns and walks back into the apartment, leaving me alone in the hallway. Our grandmother visits was a success. Our marriage might not survive the night. You still have feelings for him. Chunsik's accusation hangs in the air like poison. We're in the living room, the city lights behind him making his silhouette look almost threatening. That's insane, I snap back. Gapsu is my ex for a reason. Then why are you protecting him? Chunsik steps closer, his voice rising. He shows up here, conveniently working for the man trying to destroy my company, and you two have a cozy little chat by the elevator? He was blackmailing me. About what, Seomun? What could he possibly have on you? About us. I'm shouting now. He knows the marriage is fake. He knows about the inheritance clause. And if he tells your grandmother or goes public, how does he know? Chunsik's eyes are dark, furious. How does Gapsu know the details of my grandmother's will? Did you tell him? The accusation steals the air from my lungs. You think how dare you? You were together for 2 years. Maybe you still talk to him, maybe you... I haven't spoken to him since the night you found me at that club. I'm in his face now, my hands fisted in his shirt. The night he drugged me, remember? The night you supposedly married me to protect me? Or was that a lie too? Chunsik's hand wraps around my wrist. Not hard, but firm. His breathing is ragged, his face inches from mine. Nothing about that night was a lie, he says, his voice dropping to something rough and dangerous. Then what's this? What are we doing, Chunsik? His other hand comes up to cup my jaw. My heart is hammering so hard I'm sure he can feel it. I don't know, he whispers. His thumb traces my bottom lip, and my breath catches. I don't know anymore. He leans in, and I can smell his cologne, feel his breath on my mouth. My eyes start to close. Chunsik jerks back like I've burned him. I'm sorry, he says, voice wrecked. I shouldn't have, I'm sorry. He walks away, leaving me standing there, wanting and confused and absolutely wrecked. The next morning, my phone buzzes with a message from an unknown number. Meet me. Usual coffee shop. Come alone, or the deal's off. YG. Gapsu. I should tell Chunsik. I should. But after last night, I don't trust either of us in the same room. The coffee shop is crowded. Gapsu sits in the back corner, looking smug. Seoman. You came. What do you want, Gapsu? Information. He slides a folder across the table. Chunsik's merger with the Japanese firm. I need the details. Baknam SSI is willing to pay very well. You want me to spy on my own husband? Your fake husband. Gapsu's smile is cruel. Don't pretend you two are in love. I know you, Seon. You were always too soft, too naive. Chunsik is using you. And you're not. I'm giving you a choice. Help me, get paid, and when this all falls apart, and it will, you'll have something to show for it. Or refuse, and I'll make sure everyone knows the truth. Chunsik loses his company. You lose whatever it is you think you have with him. I stand up. Go to hell. Think about it, Gapsu calls after me. You have 48 hours. I spend the next week digging. Late nights on Chunsik's laptop while he's sleeping, or pretending to sleep on his side of the massive bed we now share. The distance between us feels like an ocean. What I find makes my blood run cold. Gapsu and Moon Baknam aren't just business rivals. They're running an elaborate scheme to tank Chunsik's company stock, buy it at pennies on the dollar, and strip it for parts. Every coincidental setback Chunsik's faced the past 3 months? Sabotage. I'm printing evidence when Dongpal shows up unannounced. Fin. We need to talk, my brother says, pushing past me into the apartment. Dongpal now's not? Are you in love with him? The question stops me cold. What? Chunsik. Dongpal's face is serious. Are you actually in love with him? Because, little brother, he looks at you like you hung the moon. And you, he shakes his head. You look at him the same way. Like he's your whole world. I don't. Yes, you do. Dongpal's voice softens. I've known for years, Seoman. Since you were 19 and turned bright red every time Chunsik came over. I thought maybe this marriage, as weird as it started, might actually give you two idiots a chance to figure it out. My throat tightens. It doesn't matter how I feel. This was only ever supposed to be temporary. Does Chunsik know that? Before I can answer, my phone buzzes. A photo from an unknown number. It's Chunsik at a restaurant. With a man I don't recognize. They're sitting close, too close. The man's hand is on Chunsik's arm and they're both smiling. The message that follows. Looks like you're not the only one with secrets. My world tilts. Chunsik returns from his business trip at midnight. I'm waiting in the living room, the photo open on my phone. Who is he? I ask without preamble. Chunsik sets down his bag, confused. Who's who? I hold up my phone. His expression shifts, surprise, then something like fear. Seoman, that's not? Not what? Not what it looks like. I'm standing now, my voice shaking. You know what, maybe Gapsu was right. Maybe this was all just business to you. Maybe I was stupid to think. Think what? That maybe this could be real. The words tear out of me. That maybe you actually meant it when you said you loved me. I did mean it, Chunsik says desperately. I do mean it. Then who is he? A private investigator. I freeze. What? That night in Vegas, something didn't add up. Chunsik moves closer, his hands raised like he's approaching a wounded animal. I hired someone to look into Gapsu. Into what really happened that night. He pulls out his phone and shows me a report. Photos. Evidence. Gapsu had planned the whole thing. The drugs. The compromising situation. He was going to take photos, blackmail me for money, ruin my life. Chunsik had stopped it all. The marriage wasn't just about the inheritance. Chunsik says quietly. I married you to protect you, yes. But also because I'd been looking for an excuse to make you mine for 5 years, and that night, drunk, crying, asking me if I'd marry you, felt like fate. Chunsik. I'm in love with you, Kong Seomun. I have been since the day Dongpao brought you to my graduation and you told me my speech was adequate but could use more passion. A sob laugh escapes me. I was 19 and trying to sound smart. You were perfect. He cups my face with both hands, and this time, when he leans in, he doesn't pull away. The kiss is soft at first, tentative. Then I grab his shirt and pull him closer, and it turns desperate. Hungry. 5 years of wanting poured into this single moment. When we break apart, both breathing hard, Chunsik rests his forehead against mine. We still have problems, I whisper. Gapsu Baknam. I know, but we'll handle them. Together. Together, I agree. My phone buzzes one more time. A message from Gapsu. Time's up. I'm going public tomorrow. Chunsik reads it over my shoulder. His jaw sets. Then we go to war, he says. I don't sleep. Can't sleep. Instead, I lie in bed watching Chunsik's chest rise and fall, his arms still wrapped around my waist from when we finally collapsed into bed at 3 a.m., exhausted from planning our counterattack against Gapsu and Baknam. My phone buzzes with the sunrise. A message from Gapsu, press conference at noon. Hope your fake marriage was worth it. Chunsik stirs beside me. Let him do it. What? He sits up, his hair mussed, eyes determined. Let him have his press conference. We'll have ours right after, with actual evidence of their fraud scheme. And our marriage? Chunsik's hand finds mine. That's real now, isn't it? Before I can answer, my heart twisting painfully in my chest, his phone rings. He glances at the screen and frowns. It's the investigator. He says it's urgent. We meet Kim Min-jun, the man from the photo, at a cafe 2 hours later. He slides a thick folder across the table, and what's inside makes my head spin. Your Vegas wedding, Min-jun says carefully, watching my face. It wasn't accidental. We know, Chunsik says. Gapsu drugged Seomun. No, I mean it wasn't accidental that you two ended up married. Min-jun taps a photo. Security footage from the club. Gapsu drugged Seomun's drink? Yes. But look at timestamp 11:47 p.m. I lean closer. There's Dongpao, talking to Chunsik, practically shoving him toward me. Your brother knew, Min-jun says. He saw Gapsu spike the drink. He also knew about Chunsik SSI's feelings for you. So he facilitated. Facilitated? I repeat numbly. He gave Chunsik SSI the address of the only 24-hour wedding chapel in Vegas. Told him you'd been talking about wanting to get married. Basically gave him permission. I turned to Chunsik. Did you know? Not until yesterday. His voice is tight. Dongpao called while you were sleeping. Confessed everything. Said he was tired of watching us dance around each other for 5 years. My brother orchestrated this? There's more, Min-jun continues. The inheritance clause? It's real, but the 6-month requirement was actually 1 year. Chunsik SSI told you 6 months because I thought you'd never agree to a year, Chunsik interrupts, his ears red. I thought 6 months was already pushing it. I was going to figure out how to convince you to stay longer when the time came. Oh my God. So this was all. I can't even finish the sentence. A mess of good intentions, poor execution, and people who love you trying to play matchmaker, Min-jun summarizes. He slides another folder across. But this is what you actually need. Gapsu and Baknam's entire scheme. Bank records, emails, recorded phone calls. Everything. Chunsik takes it, his expression hardening. This is enough to bury them. There's a shareholders meeting this afternoon, Min-jun adds. Baknam's planning to call for a vote of no confidence. He has enough proxies to win unless you expose him first. The shareholders meeting is a battlefield in business suits. Moon Baknam sits at the head of the table, smug and confident. Gapsu stands behind him like a trained dog. When I walk in with Chunsik, Gapsu's eyes widen. Seomun, he says, all false concern. I'm surprised you're here. After my press conference this morning. You mean the press conference where you accused my husband of fraud? I smile coldly. That was interesting. Almost as interesting as these. Chunsik projects the evidence onto the screen. Bank transfers. Emails between Gapsu and Baknam planning the sabotage. Audio recordings of them discussing how to tank the company stock. The room erupts. This is fabricated. Baknam sputters, his face purple. The forensic accountants disagree, Chunsik says smoothly. As do the police who are waiting outside to escort you both for questioning. Gapsu's eyes find mine, desperate. Soon, please. We were together for 2 years. That has to mean something. It means I learned what not to look for in a partner, I say. Thank you for that lesson. Security escorts them out. The remaining shareholders unanimously vote to keep Chunsik as CEO. We win. Back at the penthouse, I start packing my things from the guest bedroom. The 6 months, the fake 6 months, are up. The threat is gone. Chunsik has his company. He doesn't need me anymore. What are you doing? Chunsik appears in the doorway. The marriage served its purpose, I say, not looking at him. My hands are shaking as I fold a shirt. Your company is safe. We can get divorced now. Is that what you want? It's what we agreed to. Seomun. He crosses the room in 3 strides and catches my wrists. Is that what you want? What I want doesn't matter. It's the only thing that matters. His voice breaks. Do you want to leave? Because I don't want you to go. I never wanted you to go. The inheritance, the company, all of it, none of it matters if you're not here. Tears blur my vision. Chunsik. I love you, he says desperately. Not fake love for show. Real, messy, terrifying love. The kind where I can't sleep when you're not next to me. The kind where seeing you smile makes everything else worthwhile. The kind where the thought of you walking out that door makes me want. I kiss him. Desperate. Pouring 5 years of longing into it. When we break apart, I'm crying and laughing at the same time. I woke up married to you, I whisper against his lips. And I don't want to wake up without you ever again. Chunsik's smile is blinding. Then don't. 3 months later, we stand in a courthouse. Dong Pal is our witness, rolling his eyes but grinning. Do you, Kang Seomun, take back Chunsik? Yes, I interrupt. God, yes. The officiant blinks. I haven't finished. Neither have I, Chunsik says, pulling me close. And yes. Always yes. Dong Pal groans. You two are disgustingly in love. Finally. Took you idiots long enough. Thank you, I tell my brother. For the meddling. Someone had to do it. He pulls us both into a hug. You're welcome. Now can we please eat? I'm starving. As we leave the courthouse, married for real this time, with clear heads and full hearts, Chunsik laces his fingers through mine. Any regrets? He asks. I think about that morning in Vegas. The confusion, the fear, the absolute chaos of waking up married to my brother's best friend. Not a single one, I say. And I mean it.